What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle one more again. Look, I couldn't let this moment pass without me weighing in on some of the goings on with the Dallas Cowboys coming off the heels of that embarrassing loss to the Lions. And then you know what hit the fan on Tuesday. And then all the stuff with, the Jerry going back and forth with the guys on 105.3 The Fan. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then it goes from there to Troy Aikman going, as the thing said, scorched earth on the Cowboys and their way that they go about their business. DeMarcus Ware having they're all getting a shot at the Cowboys right now. The Cowboys getting it from all angles, right? It goes from there. Then they getting clowned on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast with Kirby Joseph and all that sort of stuff. So all of those sorts of things going on. Then you got Mike McCarthy trying to save face by, trying to, saying the Cowboys aren't soft. Be careful who you call soft. And it's just a lot of stuff going on with the Cowboys, but we're going to talk about that. And then with all that going on, we got a bye week, and then we got a chance to get some things right. We're going to talk about that plus a whole lot more. Hang with your boy.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
Once again, what's good, people? Hope y'all doing good. It's Uncle Fred back in the house, back in the saddle. Like I said, please hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Thankful to all the people that have, a couple of people have joined the Uncle Fred squad. I see a couple more. I need more. I'm trying to move towards monetization. You need about 1,000. I'm gonna write like 200. I know I don't do this full time like some of the big dogs do. This is what they do. This is their job. But I do got a regular 9 to 5. Hence the digs I got on today, because I'm on my way to the salt mine as soon as I finish up this video. But I wanted to weigh in on some of these things, and y'all will apologize again for the camera, because I kind of tore up my camera last night, pulled the plug-in out of it when it kind of failed or whatever. So I'm using the camera on the actual device. So I'll have to bear with me. But this material had to get out, so I had to weigh in on that sort of stuff. But yeah, on the heels of the like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of Uncle Fred's sports experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. Let's get into it. So we know that after the game, like it went on Sunday, Jerry's birthday. Happy 82nd birthday, Jerry. And you saw him sitting there looking like like he was getting aging by the second. Okay, as those seconds was coming off the clock in that game, it looked like he was getting older by the minute. And looked up one more. Dang, he looked like a prune down. He looked like a prune before. I'm digressing. But anywho, so Tuesday, Jerry has these regular appearances on 3 The Fan, and there was some interchanging between him and those guys. RJ Choppy, Sean Sharif, Bobby Belt, and sometimes Brian Broaddus is on there with those guys talking and hamming it up and whatnot. So Jerry makes his regular appearance on there on Tuesdays and Fridays. So Jerry is actually on his way, I guess, to the airport, because he almost rear-ended somebody while he was out. So you don't have somebody to drive you? Whatever, man. You're 82, bro. Now my dad drove until he was up till he died at 90. But that ain't everybody's story. And that's you driving around in the Dallas Metroplex. We were in what, Alabama. So it's not the same thing. But hey, he was driving because he almost rear-ended somebody because he made that plane in the audio. He was calling as he's going to the airport or what have you, going to the owners meeting that was in Atlanta. So as he's going, they was talking, they was asking him about different things and stuff. And so the questions started to get a little into his mind testy. So they was talking about like, well, come out of last year, you know how the season ended with the Green Bay game, and all of the things that had plagued the Cowboys all year had came up and came home in the roost in that game. Meaning, your offenses don't have any running game, don't have any imagination. 2, defense don't have any on the line of scrimmage defensively. Your defensive tackles are weak, and you have no linebackers, and teams were able to run at will on you. Okay, these were things, and then they kind of held them to the fire. It's like, well, you kind of didn't do anything in the offseason, and they didn't, that's nothing really to be argued there, right? They didn't do anything in the offseason, right? And so they kind of like, well, and the things that were doing that last year, 6 games in, kind of the same thing. You 31st and 32nd and running. The offense is, don't have any, imagination or creativity. You can't run the ball. You're 32nd and running the ball. And, you can't stop the run. You're like 29th, 30, 31st and stopping the run. Some of the same things. You kind of didn't do anything, and you kind of, And so that's when the things start going off. And he's like, now, if you think I'm going to sit here, now the first thing he says, if you think I'm going to go back and forth with you about the things that I didn't or did not do over there, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not getting it exact. I listened to the entire thing. He said, y'all must be smoking something. That's when they should have said, we got to abort. But no, they kept going because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to ask these questions. And so they talked about, well, this is like the 4th time you've been like blown out. What makes you think the guys you got on this team currently assembled can do the things that you think they're supposed to be able to do, right? And then he was like, well, where are you going to get players? And all of the content creators went ballistic on that one. Because they're like, what do you mean where you going to get players? You get players the same place everybody else get them. Through the draft, free agency, trades. That's the way you everywhere else. And his own son says, well, player acquisition is a 24/7, 365, day process. Where you going to get players? And while they were having their discussion, the New York Giants acquired Devontae Adams from the Raiders for whatever draft picks and whatever compensation they got. A little bit later, Amari Cooper goes to the Buffalo Bills from the Cleveland Browns. So apparently those guys know how to get players, know where to go get players. It ain't like they got them hid somewhere that don't nobody know where they're at. It's just that you don't want to go get them. Where you going to get players? I mean, that might be I don't want to call him the man dumb because obviously he's not dumb. The dude, is a genius in certain areas, right? Because the Cowboy, he bought the Cowboys. He alluded to it in his message, in his thing where he said, sometimes you can do silly things that turn out great. Sometimes you can do what seems to be a smart thing and it don't turn out well. People said 35 years ago it was the dumbest thing ever to buy the Cowboy. Bought the Cowboy for $140 million. What are they worth today? About $12 billion. So obviously the man isn't dumb, all right? But that was very uninformed or maybe like a statement that like is determined to make you seem like you don't understand how things work, and I think he does that a lot. Like you don't have the ability to ascertain information, obtain information, acquire information. It ain't like, and they even mentioned it in the thing, this ain't 1970s and the 80s where the viewing public were, you got one game, because I've been watching the Cowboys since 1970. You got one game or 1 or 2 games on Sunday. You got the Falcons in our area. You got the Falcons and I don't know, whichever AFC game was available that week. We didn't have the Titans then. So you got those 2 games. That's about it. You got a game on Monday. Wasn't no Thursday, wasn't no other game. It's no Sunday night. You ain't getting none of that. You got a couple of games. and it wasn't no ESPN or nothing. So you didn't get access to information. Wasn't no internet. Wasn't nothing. So the average fan was pretty much, you could tell him anything. You can kind of say, well, we pull plows and stuff to get our players ready, and you'd be like, oh, really? And you don't know no better. But now you be like, nah, man, you can't do that. Then you go to the internet and you're like, no. So sometimes I think Jerry thinks that this is still 1970 and you can just say anything and people don't know them. But we're going to get players. Like you can't go get players. You can go get players. Just, do you want to pay for them? But I thought that was silly that he started to get tested. And then he started saying, like, look, now, dadgummit. And they started asking him more about, you're not, the offense is not going as well. And, you didn't put the team together. You waited to sign players, this sort of thing. And, alluding to, you waited till at the end of the regular preseason to sign players. Players didn't have the, he's just getting into all of it. I'm kind of paraphrasing. He can only get into the other subjects. And that's when it hit the fan. I guess Jerry said, dadgummit, I'd have had enough. Look, now, this ain't your job to be asking me these tough questions. This ain't your job to be, trying to grill me on, what we did or did not do or these sorts of things. And you want to throw all the good stuff all we've done out with the bad. This is not your job. And then you said, well, hold on, Jerry. He said, no, what's going to happen? I'll get somebody else to ask these questions. Nag comes out and it's like, get somebody else to ask these questions. And so that's when the thing says, oh, hey, hold up, Jay. He said, I'm not playing. Let you think I'm playing, because they're like, easy, Jerry. Now, let me say this before I get it. Now, a lot of people are really wanting to carry the water of the 105.3 The Fan, and that's, like I say, they do good work. But it was only a couple of months ago that them same people were throwing stones at people like me, which I'm little, I'm a small content guy, but all of the guys, your Law Nations, your William Skywalker Steele, your Vosh Lombardis, your Cowboy Fan Talk, your Koye Media, all these guys, Landlord, all these guys, they got several thousand followers. And what they have done, they are disseminating information out that kind of goes against what the status quo or what they talk about when the Cowboys control those media outlets. See, and they speak out against when they say, oh, no, they ain't no, the salary cap won't allow us to do such a thing. Well, we don't have the money to do that when all the other teams are doing it. And we've been putting that out and they say, oh, if the Cowboys don't have the money to do that, how come the Eagles have money to do it? How come the Lions, who we just played, how come they're you pay a quarterback? Well, they paid their quarterback. Well, when you pay your wide receiver, they paid their wide receiver. They also paid Penei Sewell. They also paid, as a matter of fact, right after that game, Akini McNeil, the defensive tackle, who was whipping TJ Bass and Tyler Smith like a rented mule, running plays and other things. They went in and gave him some money. So he and DJ Reader, who they got from Cincinnati, okay, he had to pay him like $18-19 million a year. So yeah, they went and got players. So they're doing it too, okay. And they also paid I said Penei Sewell. They also gave Montgomery some money, right before kickoff. All right. Now they know full well that they got to pay Aiden Hutchinson next year, just like we know we got to pay Micah next year. Okay, but that's not stopping them from paying the people that's doing the stuff today. But see, he'll have you believe that you can't do those things simultaneously. The new media, which is like us guys, will tell you, no, they blowing smoke up your dress. It's not true. It's not factual. Because today's fan, if you go to Sports Track, they can tell you what contracts are, how much salary cap space is available. You can find that information out right now easily. I hear people all the time say, well, Cowboys really can't pay Dak. Really? Because all the other teams seem to be doing it. All right? But but the reason I brought that up is because these guys call us new media guys idiots or morons. That was the term, okay? And so this little thing that happened between Jerry and these guys also caused a stir between the Cowboy content community. two of the biggest guys that I kind of watch some, a guy named Dak Attack. I watch some of his content. He's a little, he may be just an acquired taste. I kind of like it. He gets a little wound up, man, and whatever. But everybody in the content space has their little niche, and everybody isn't for everybody. You kind of. And then a guy named Boss Cowboy. They kind of, now something that Dak Attack said was that, all of a sudden these same guys that called us morons a couple months ago because we was talking against, them, pay that and you need to do this and you can't pay CD and whatever, all this kind of stuff and all this stuff were the same people that had the accusers of Dak in the SA case, brought the accuser's lawyer on and gave her free access and free reign to, say what he wanted to say about Dak Prescott. This is your team's quarterback. Okay. They let her and you're starting to see where the unction to do that came from. So Dak Attack says these are the same dudes that did that, called us morons, but now you wanting to run to HR on those guys' behalf. And he said, "Oh, it wasn't right, but I ain't crying for them, and I'm not, filing those sorts of protests for them because you kind of get it how you get it." Okay. But I just wanted to tell you this because it shows you the landscape of things and some of the things that we've been trying to tell y'all for the last year and a half, 2 years that I've been doing this, that the problems that deal with the Cowboys ain't with the players on the field. It's the problem, the main thing that have the problems that the Cowboys have sits up in that every Sunday. And I'm telling you, and it's not that the players play, but it's certain players that play, okay? Certain things go down that shouldn't go down, okay? Because what you saw with that little exchange was a total emasculation. That's what that was. He basically said, "Oh, I got money. You will simmer down because I pay your salary," even though he don't. They air his content or his stories and whatnot and his and they and they got a relationship in that regard, but don't get it twisted because Shannon Sharp had to tell Ocho about that because they because I watched Nightcap too, but he told him, he said, no, Ocho, you don't get it, man. If Jerry wants a certain such and such and done and make it where you can't get hired, even though these guys got the #1 show in the Dallas Metroplex, you ain't gonna get hired. He runs that town. Okay. Dude's a 10, 11-time billionaire. If he wants something not done, it's not gonna get done. Okay. But at the same time, when this person that has that kind of power wields that power because he's made to feel uncomfortable or when he is pushed back against, you start to see guys like, okay. Now you start seeing, because somebody called on one of the shows, I was watching Boss and some other guys last night, and so a girl had a question. He said, "Do you think it's possible that Jerry has something to do with, because you see how bad the offense has been, and sometimes you see certain things certain weeks, and next week you don't see it, like you saw a lot of motion against the Steelers, orbit motion, jet motion before and after snap motion and stuff, and you see it against the Lions, you didn't see none of that. You saw a very vanilla game plan, very simple routes." He said, is it possible that Jerry could be influencing the game plan, that being put out, the plays that get ran and these sorts of things? This is what and it seems stupid at that. Oh, Jerry ain't got no way, because Mike Fisher talks about that. He said, "Oh, no, Jerry wouldn't know what an L4 on a kickoff return is. He don't know nothing about that." No, but he knows if, say, for instance, a guy like Zeke Elliott comes to him and comes to the coaching staff and says, "I want more touches," then all of a sudden he gets more touches than he in that game that he got in the last 3 games combined for 1-yard gains apiece. Then he influences that, And I thought some of the panel would say, "Oh no, that's ridiculous." And they said, no, I think there's something to that, And but that's what I'm saying. When your guy has that kind of power, that kind of stuff, and he has that kind of hubris, where if I'm paying you, or you're on my payroll, you're somehow beneath me, and you can't talk in a certain tone. You got to talk up to me. You got to look at the ground when you're talking to me. You can't make eye contact, because I come from an era when that was a thing. When you came across certain folks, you had to look down. You couldn't make eye contact with them. I come from that era. Sorry, I grew up in an era that's very different from the era we currently live in. Okay, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. It's a totally different world than it is now. Okay, so when you see that, you start to understand that. Then, of course, now you think about it, and it's like, well, maybe he just got a little brisket. But see, I don't give Jerry no ground on this, because he made it his business to do those media things. That's his thing. He wants to do those. You don't see Wellington Mara, that's the owners of the Giants. You don't see him, Ned York. You don't see none of them dudes. Jeffrey Lurie, doing any 2 times a week press things with the media. You don't see them doing that, because they go hide. Let the players do that. Let the players sit there and take the firing squad before the media. Let them do that, right? They let them do that. They don't see them. They don't do that. Oh, but he's a GM too. Good. Let's go that level too. You ever seen John Lynch on the media? What about Brett Veach? You even know what he looked like? Chris Light, Terry Fontenot. That's the GMs of the Kansas City Chiefs and Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think I said them in order, but respectively. I know the names of most of the GMs, because to do this, you kind of got to know that sort of stuff and know how they move and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if I know them, if I've seen them, but I'm just saying, you don't see them doing that. So he insists on doing the media things, because he feels like that does whatever it does. And the same thing I tell when I talk, and don't get me wrong, don't say I'm misogynist or something. When I talk to young ladies, and I tell them, look, when you dress provocatively, you gotta kind of be expected. You kind of gotta understand the sort of energy that draws. Sometimes you just can't do everything you want to do. Everything you can do don't mean you should do it. And I'll tell that with everything. Okay, yeah, you can wear a dress that's 2 inches below your waistline. You could do that, but it draws a certain energy. You can't be reaching for attention and then shut the door when it knocks. Same thing with Jared. You want this attention, okay? Because you do this. Now, you can't go crazy when the attention goes sideways, because you invite this into your home, this attention. You could just went on and said, we ain't doing no radio show. We ain't doing no more radio show. We ain't no more. Matter of fact, Brian Broader says, really, Jerry should just stop with that. Stop with the media thing. Stop with the 2 radio shows a week. Him and Steve. Just stop. Just stop. It serves no. Just stop. But he's not gonna. Okay. Now, in case you think, well, because we always say who people that tell the truth are what? Children, angry people, and drunk people. Okay. Obviously, he wasn't drunk. He was driving. He's not a child. He was an angry person. Sometimes angry people will tell you, well, dadgummit, I ain't like you no way. Okay. But he had time to make his trip to Atlanta, go to the meeting. And since we're talking about the meeting, the last thing he told me, you think y'all so smart, why don't y'all come to this meeting I'm going to with these 31 other owners and stuff, and you so smart, okay? Basically insulting them like you got a microphone and a thing. You just a Yahoo. That's what I think he called Yee-hee, I think what he called him, but he meant Yahoo. And that's all I am. I'm a Yahoo with a camera and a laptop, right? I'm a Yahoo too, right? But I got eyes and I know what I see. But he had time to calm down from the thing, got on his plane, went to that meeting, talked to Diana Rossini, coming out of the owners' meeting. And he doubled down. He said, I don't mind going before the tribunal. That's fine. But when I don't expect to get that from the guys that I'm paying. He doubled down on that. He didn't have time to cool off and had owners meeting, had martinis, that had whatever food or whatever they served. I'm sure they served a great spread at these things. That had time to calm down, get woosah. Had time to do that. and still was like, no, I don't expect that from the guys I'm paying. If I'm paying you, you will bow down to me. That's what that tells me. So that explains a lot of things that goes on with the. So that tells me that he does not mind emasculating people. That's why you don't see alpha males getting that coaching job or being on his coaching staff. Or if they were alpha males, they get neutered. That's why you see Mike Zimmer, who's a guy that will ream you upside one down the other when you do. He's just on the sideline just looking because he didn't got that memo. Yeah, we will not do that. You will stand down. So, but anyway, I think it just shows you what kind of things that goes on in the Cowboys behind the veil, behind the screen. There's a lot that goes on there that explains why we ain't won in 29 years. It's more than just the players, okay? And more stuff gets put out, more we got these guys like me and on small scale, but these other people's putting this stuff out. They're letting you know, hey, man, something ain't right here, okay? But what I don't like is these people making excuses for him, because they came on later and that's just Jerry. I'm like, no, dude, he just emasculated you in camera. You got kids that watch it. Ooh, Jerry, he told you he was gonna take your job, Daddy. You don't do that. I don't care how much power you got. I'm a daggum man. You're not fixing to emasculate me in front of people. You're just not gonna do it. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. At some points in time, you gotta button it up a little bit because we all got jobs with the brass and people come. You kind of straighten up. You put maybe not gossip, not talk as much that day. You may get a little more work done. You don't have all your apparatuses and stuff on. You getting work done. I get all that, but you're not fixing to call me out or make me feel less than a man in front of people. Or I'm gonna tell you about that because you don't get to do that. Okay, you don't get to do that just because you have money. There's a with power comes responsibility. Okay, so you had that going on. Everybody was talking about that and stuff. So I mean, that a lot of that explains a lot of the stuff that goes on with the Stars. So now a lot of the fallout from that and then the other things. That was the topic of the day, Wednesday and yesterday. And I wanted to get on with y'all. I couldn't get on to you, but then yesterday, Troy Aikman went scorched earth on the Cowboys when he was on talking about the different things because people hold Troy Aikman in high regard. He's the Cowboys quarterback, and he's my favorite. I saw Roger Staubach, but I saw him at the end of his career from 77 to 79, 2 years basically, right? So I only saw him for 2 years, and I saw some great things those 2 years. But I saw Danny White, and I saw all these other guys. I saw Quincy Carter. Saw what's the kid's name? There was the New York Yankees. Drew Henson, I think was his name. I saw him, and what's the guy that got drafted with Peyton Manning? Ron Leaf. I saw him, and all these guys. Drew Bledsoe. I saw all these guys. Right. Troy Aikman was the dude. Right. 3 Super Bowls, right? Won 90 games in a decade. He just did it, right? And he knows a little something about football, knows a little something about even from his career at Fox and career at I don't know who he works for now, but one thing I do know about Troy is not in Jerry's pocket, not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So when he says something, it means something different to me than say when Michael says something or when Emmett says something. Okay, it's a little different because every time Mike says something, it always goes back to the players. He'll never say anything disparaging about Jerry because in his mind, Jerry, there's no doubt in my mind, Jerry has helped him do some things. Jerry has pulled him out of some fires. Jerry has done some things for him. Okay, same thing I believe for Emmett, the businesses and stuff. I think Jerry had something to do with getting those guys. So they're real careful, real measured in what they say about Jerry. Okay, now Troy ain't gonna come out and say that Jerry's incompetent, but he'll lay tea leaves around. He'll basically say that it's not the hierarchy there needs to be checked. He said that years ago when they was getting their doors blew off by Baltimore on a Thursday night. He was talking about that. And then this time he's talking about, well, yeah, their whole approach to the game is just bad. He said the wide receivers, the routing is just terrible. It's just terrible. They come off the line lazy. They run terrible routes. That CD Lamb is because he's the leader. Okay, he's the paid $34 million. He said, now if you coming off the line lazy, and they say because really the route's supposed to be ran hard, even if you're not getting the football, the play ain't ran for you, because if you're running off the route, the line slow, then the defense knows, oh, the ball ain't going your way. You tipping them off. That's what he said. That's why you got to run your routes 100% every play, you know. But and then he CD getting his moves and getting his little thing. He get it, and then he basically like, no, that's got to be better. You can't play quarterback when you don't know where your receiver's gonna be at, how he's playing, where he's going. And he went on and said, no, that stuff's terrible. And then I don't know whose idea it was to sign these guys right before the season started. It's almost like you don't care with the preseason and that stuff. That work needs something, because what happened last year was last year. Teams get filmed and they guard you against what happens last year. So that means you get together and you work on improvements for this year. They didn't get to do that because somebody thought it was a good idea to wait till an hour before kickoff to sign Dak, and at the end of preseason to sign CD, meaning that they didn't work together none during preseason. See, that's organizational mismanagement. He's saying that without saying that. Okay. All right. He's not pointing at players. He's looking at the organizations that the players are in. We've been trying to tell you that for years. But nobody will listen to us. Oh, it's just Dak. Dak just needs to be better. No, Sherlock. But what environment is Dak in? Okay. If the dads are drunk and comes home late every night and don't pay the bills and the bill collectors are coming, that you think that you might, flunk a test or two if you're a kid growing up in that household? I'm just saying, it's things that go on there that's not conducive for winning. And it's been that way for a while now. Players, coaches, and everything have come and gone. There's a constant. All right. Now, speaking to that now, DeMarcus Ware also said something to that effect, but he was measured too, because DeMarcus Ware was presented by Jerry Jones in his Hall of Fame, so he's not going to speak. But he did say something that kind of speaks to that too. He said the leaders don't pour into the younger players. Now, remember, I have said it many a times that the Cowboys don't believe in mentorship. Soon as CD Lamb, they thought he was ready to play, they sent Amari Cooper off, who got traded for a 3rd round pick and a player. That ought to make you mad, because he only got a 5th round pick from us in trade while he was still in his prime, 6 years into the league, and you only got a 5th round pick from this dude on the other side of the thing now, like 10 years in now, and he still got a 3rd, because their front office knows what the heck they're doing. See, just because you have money don't mean you know what you're doing. Okay. I could buy a hospital. I could win the lotto tomorrow, win several $100 million, and I want to do humanitarian work. I go buy me a hospital. That don't mean I put on a surgeon's gown and go in and help with surgeries. That's not my expertise. Now, if they have some things where there's lawsuits involved, now I got to get in there and say, okay, what are we doing? Help me understand what's going on here. But just because you don't have money, you have money don't mean you're an expert in all areas. But anyway, DeMarcus Ware said, we don't, the leaders don't pour into, because the leaders that are there don't get a chance to pour into the guy before they're ready to run. CD Lamb wasn't ready to be no leader. Same thing with Diggs. He ain't ready to be no leader. Amari Cooper and Stephon Diggs needed to be there longer. Mozzie Smith needed Jonathan Hankins a little while longer, so he could have poured into him that knowledge, that corporate knowledge, and that sort of stuff. But he said he's speaking out against them too. All right. So Cowboys getting it from all sides. And then meanwhile, you got your coach saying, because it got talked about Woody. Is it Donovan Woody? I can't think it's right. That's on ESPN. Basically called a soft again. And so that's been talked about. So Mike McCarthy's like, man, you be careful who you call soft. Look, Mike, teams are running over y'all. Anytime they get ready to run it, they can run. They're running it on 3rd and 9 on y'all and getting first downs. They're running over. We're soft. Now, if it takes calling y'all soft to make y'all play better, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that to make y'all play better. Okay. And you're going to be soft until you're not soft. Show me you not soft by what you do when you play the 49ers in a week. Show me then. Until then, I don't want to hear ish from you in that regard, because you've been emasculated. I know, but still, don't be coming trying to say like you're a tough guy and you're not, because Jerry has your in his hands, and you know he do. And everybody knows it. And the players know it. You can't be telling the players nothing. Man, Jerry, you'll say how high, Jerry? How high you want me to jump? They know that. That's why we don't win. And then the stuff keeps going, because you on Ross St. Brown's podcast, which nobody knew he had a podcast. Everybody's all on Micah because everybody's got a podcast, right? He had Kirby Joseph, that safety, on there, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, we knew how to when we was playing them that we was trying to get at them because they, and you should have known they was coming with bad intentions. They were trying to hurt you." Okay, now I don't mean that figure. I mean they were trying to embarrass you. It's why they running freaking five play flea flickers on you, lining up tackles at the wide receiver position. They're making fun. They're messing with you. They came in with that kind of energy, and you just kind of came in with we're just playing a game. No, them guys trying to take your freaking head off. And you came in there soft, came in there, like, oh, guys, we're just playing a game here, right? Nothing. No, they're coming to knock your freaking block off. But they basically said, yeah, we came in there to do that. We didn't like how that thing ended last year. And I'm paraphrasing. And then it goes on to say, on defense, because Kirby Joseph was a safety. All we knew, we had to, we have to take away CD, because we know he's a playmaker, because he ate us up for 190 some odd yards in that game. Or maybe it was like 200 some odd yards, so 11 catches. Yeah, he ate their lunch and said, okay, we're not going to let them do that. And they should have been knowing that teams was going to do something different to them. That's why they need to be in training camp. Okay. He said, yeah, I knew they weren't going nowhere. Nobody else. We weren't worried about nobody else, because y'all don't play for nobody else. Y'all don't scheme it for nobody else. They knew that. Teams know how simple your game plan is. Jerry. He said, yeah, they got to keep the game plan simple so Jerry can understand what's going on. I don't know that for a fact. But and he said, oh yeah, on that interception, oh yeah, we baited Dak in the net. We know he's gonna go to CD. So I'll fake like I'm gonna cover I think it was Jalen Tolbert in the flat, and went right back there. Yeah, I know he's going to CD. That's where he's going. And I bet we bait. He was talking about Brian Branch, obviously. So anyhow, so all that stuff's going on. So the Cowboys got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they ain't been playing. We got a bye week and stuff, and still, man, the daggum news thing is, and I'm sure Jared to a certain degree likes that. They talking about us, but it ain't in a good light. Okay. And you got to be wondering, are we doing what it takes to win football games? If we're not doing what it takes to win football games, then what are we doing? If you're just doing it to get folks to talk, and you're not doing what it takes to win football games, so like you're not spending the money it takes to win football games, but the other teams are. You don't want to spend 2025 money in 2024 because it'll break your whatever next year and the year after, but the other teams are. How you going to beat them? The only way we got a chance with this current setup to win is you just go with a preponderance of talent. Like a seesaw, it sits like that, and somebody sits on this side, sits on the other, and it balances it out. Jerry's like a 500-pound weight on one side of the seesaw. And the only way you can win in the way he runs, when you running media circus and media stuff on at the same time with football stuff, the only way you're going to win with that is you got to win with a preponderance of talent on the other side to overweigh that. That's the only way we're going to win. And when they're hell-bent on, excuse my language, bent on just skimming we just made a signing the other day while the Jets and the Bills played a game Monday night, and they both made big-time moves, getting Amari Cooper, somebody's going to get Hassan Reddick too. Meanwhile, we got Jalen Dalton, a dude from the San Antonio Brahmas, on our defensive line. He's played in 9 games in his career, got 30 tackles. These are the guys we're getting. You're not going to overcome the weight that Jerry puts on there with that kind of talent. We have to overdo it with the talent in order to make this model win. And everybody seems to know that, but Jerry. That being said, you get a lot of guys coming back next Sunday. Bland coming back. We'll have Micah coming back. We'll have Hendricks coming back. Not Hendricks, Kendricks coming back. Guyton will probably be back, pushing Tyler Smith back at his natural position at left guard. Everybody's been said. Everybody's been talked about. Everybody's kicking them. Everybody put dirt on us. I think we're going to play a good game against the 49ers. I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm going to come back with a video later, and we'll talk about it and give you my prediction on that. But I think we're going to do pretty well in that game. And I think we will make an honest showing of ourselves in that. Well, can't talk no longer because I got to go and meet the man because it's time for me to go to work. So hopefully you've heard something and heard from Uncle Fred's perspective on all the goings on that went on this week with the Jerry, with the Troy Aikman, with the DeMarcus Ware, the podcast, the Mike McCarthy stuff, and heard all that stuff. And maybe you've heard my perspective. What's yours? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. Take care. God bless all of you. Catch you guys on the next video.